Hi everyone, bonjour à tous. Yes, I will try to explain different topics in 1 hour, so I don't think I will be able to explain all the processes that we can have in SAP Finance and SAP Public Cloud. I will try to show you how to process a scope item. Today I will show you a scope item called Account Payable in S/4HANA Public Cloud. I don't think in 1 hour we'll have the time to assess all the flow. I only introduce some concepts in Public Cloud, so do not hesitate to post your question. I hope that everybody are in measure to understand English. So I will introduce to you the first information when we start in S/4HANA. I will talk to you scope item. So when we are in SAP, S/4HANA Public Cloud, or in S/4HANA on-prem or in private cloud, we work with the scope item. In the scope item, we have some information about the process flow, the tester script. We have some task tutorial to understand the process. If I take, for example, the Best Practice Account Payable, I use my version, for example, for France, S/4HANA Public Cloud. I've got also the different language, but when I select the language, all the detail in the language, all the detail are still in English. I've got just the information about the overview, the country, region, relevance, the detail. And the scope item, account payable, I've got an overview, the key process flow. I think you have already seen the process flow. Process flow explains step by step how to start and finish a process. Sometimes I will have a character that he indicate to me that there are another scope item. I've got also this scope item if I want to process cash operation. Hello, Elodie, Samir, Dolly. Si vous avez des questions, je réponds aussi en français. J'espère que ça va aller en anglais. C'est aussi un bon exercice pour chacun. So I will continue to English. I go back in a scope item. I have some access, real access to SAP in public cloud, in private, or in on-prem. So it's very simple to start to SAP with the scope item. So you have different information, for example, to start in the finance, to discover the finance, but don't worry, start by scope item. For example, I want to be an expert or a senior or beginner on public cloud. I go to the rapid.sap.com, rapid.sap.com. Right now you are a new version because it's web mouse. So I want to discover the finance in SAP. I got SAP Best Practices for S4. And I want to know everything about finance. I just have to open different group, accounting and finance close, financial close, advanced accounting finance close, financial operation. So I just have to select, open scope item, and I just have to discover each scope item. So if we start by G60, so as you can see, there is a lot of scope item available in the system to be expert on finance. So if I reopen a scope item, I've got all the time the same things. I've got the prerequisite, system access, the role that you need, business condition. When I say the business condition, for example, you need to have a supplier with the financial view. You need to have a material. You need to have a cost center. You need to have a profit center. Wait a minute, I just have to open the door. I'm back, sorry. Bonjour monsieur, donnez-vous cette formation en you are able to log in French, log in English, and to follow. It's easy to understand, really to understand how to process all the scope item in English with all the information. So for example, if I start with the scope item, I need some information, for example, the business partner. I follow the process. I check in my scope item. I've got all the information. I've got the purpose of maintain business partner. Vendor master record are used both accounting component and purchasing component. As you know, in a business partner, you have a part of supply and part of invoicing. So I've got all the time the information about what to do. So I've got, and then I just have to follow the process. For example, log on the SAP Fiori Launchpad as account payable accountant. And right now, for example, access the SAP Fiori app. I just have, okay, open, maintain business partner. Okay, I just have to do it. I go to S4HANA Public Cloud. As you can see, I've got my home, I've got the different page. And in my page, in my space, I've got some information about which application I can use by process. I can build myself all my space with all the application I need to process, for example, my scope item. So I'm completely able to build a space named Account Payable with all the app required to process the account payable. So right now, for example, I select apps. I just have to put in the search field the application that I want to process to start my. I don't know if you have already been a screen Fiori. We don't have to use transaction. We used application that is an equivalent. For example, I want to use the application that can be used in the SAP GUI. In SAP GUI, you have the transaction called BP for business partner. In Fiori, we have two applications, maintain business partner, and the other one is manage business partner. If you need to know the equivalent between SAP GUI and Fiori, you just have to go to the Fiori apps library, know the equivalent. For example, I know the application where I know transaction to maintain business partner. Okay, I enter the name of the transaction that I know, business partner. Okay, SAP offer me different option with I do it, for example, with another transaction that perhaps you used in MT01. Then SAP tell me to use manage supplier master data. We have a specialized application in SAP, for example. I can use the general application maintain business partner, but I can use, I want to limit my access only to suppliers, the application manage supplier master data. So I go back to theory. Theory is exactly the same thing, for example, in the GUI system. You have this menu with space, page, a menu with all the application that a user used to process a flow in SAP. So the main difference with a SAP GUI that we have in SAP Public Cloud, very simple customizing. So I will introduce later some customizing point in finance for SAP Public Cloud. So I want to start with the finance. So first of all, I need a supplier with the view finance. So I execute the application maintain business partner. Okay, I've got the application. I just have to click on the application. In theory, we have two kinds of application. The application we have in a web GUI, that is because SAP has not finished to completely move the transaction into Fiori. So that we have exactly the same configuration that in a GUI. So I want to display all the suppliers that we have in the system. So business partner, person, organization, group. So business partner, supplier, I just have to click on start. Okay. I've got all my supplier. Okay. I create obviously a supplier, but I will show you what you need to start the process. I select my supplier. And if I want to start in the finance process, because start the finance process, I want, for example, to create a simple invoice without purchase order. So I need my supplier as the view finance. So in theory, in a web GUI or in a GUI, we can use a transaction called FT01. So that is exactly the same things. In theory, for HANA, we have only one application. So in a GUI, we have FK01, MT01, FT01, etc. Only one in theory. Do not hesitate if you have any question about the process. So I select display in BP role. Okay, the first information I need to have this supplier financial accounting. So business partner, BP role supplier with financial accounting. So I need it if I want to process in my scope item. System explain, okay, maintain business partner, okay, I made it. Business partner, okay, this one, I display organization, okay, display in payroll, supplier, financial accounting, okay. Then the system display organization, okay, switch between display and change, okay. I respect exactly what the system asked me. So I click on company code. Okay, I display right now the information about my supplier for the company KPC. This is my company. So right now I want to change some information. I just have to click on switch between display and change. Click on. Okay. Right now I'm able to change some different thing in my supplier. So interest indicator, vendor correspondence, I need to complete some information. So if I have a look, I just have to use the scrolling bar. Okay, I've got the mandatory field symbolized by a red star. Okay, I check all the information. Interest indicator, for example, if I want to complete the interest indicators as requested by the system, okay, I respect. the system tells me to complete the interest indicator for 01. Okay. And then to vendor correspondence. Okay. Select the information. I check that all the fields required. I click on vendor payment transaction. Okay, I check term of payment, payment method. I've got all the information to process after all the financial process. Okay, I consider my supplier is complete. Right now, we can start. So, if I have a look to the account payable process in finance, I want to be sure that you are able to process all the flow. We start simple flow. Create an invoice entry without purchase order. So I want to create a simple invoice to be measured, for example, to get all the finance process just up to pay my supplier. So right now, invoice entry. It's always the same thing. I just have to read all the steps provided by SAP. That is a script test. Okay. Create supplier invoice. Always the same thing. I take it. I'm going on SAP. I just provide to SAP the name of the app that I want to process, create supplier invoice. So I think that the people that know SAP GUI, I think you can see that is user-friendly. I think you can compare with the application, with the transaction Miro. So I think it's completely different for a user to work in Fiori. It's better. I think I love Fiori. So I've got always the same thing. I lost anything in Fiori. For example, in Miro, you have got invoice, credit memo, subsequent TB, subsequent credit. You have all the same thing in Fiori. But if you prefer in Fiori to use the whole transaction, you are able to do it. For example, I just have to enter the name of transaction that I used in the system, and I've got create supplier invoice advanced. So if I show you, I select exactly the same thing. As you can see, it's not so user-friendly. So it's exactly the same thing. I can create supplier invoice with the full Fiori, who I can able to create supplier invoice advanced WebGui. When I talk to WebGui, that is the same thing that the transaction in the GUI system. So I go back into create supplier invoice. As you can see, I'm not mandatory to use, for example, /n/o in a Fiori. I just have to enter the name of the application that I want to process, create supplier invoice. So I just have to close. Just have a look if you have any question. So I select, okay, I want to make an invoice without purchase order. I've got, okay, invoice. I select my company code. I enter the amount. I just have to, okay, I check the information, okay, an invoice, it's right one. Invoicing party. I've created previously my supplier, the company code. I think that is the main difference because we don't have the same system. For example, I work in the public cloud KPC company. So I'm able to this presentation KPC. So I select the information, the invoice date. I receive the invoice from my supplier today. I enter the gross amount. I enter this amount. All the monetary field, red star. For example, Best. Two options. I can enter, for example, the number, but for example, if I know the name of the supplier, that is exactly the same thing. It's really good to have this kind of option for all the you enter, and automatically the system offers to you the information. So my supplier, sorry, copy past, for example, 1, 2, 3, okay, 1, 2, 3, this is my supplier. Okay, I've always the same thing into, for example, I've got some error message or I've got some warning message. I just have to go here. Okay, for the moment, the system say no tax confound or balance not zero. Okay. As we are in a case without purchase order, we don't have to go to purchasing document references. I'm going on directly on GL account items. That is the equivalent of the application, always the same things. We need to listen to the transaction code that we can use in GUI and the new application or the application in Fiori. So GL account item. I just have to click on add. Okay. It's always the same things. I follow my scope item. In the GL account item, choose add. Okay, I proceed. Debit credit, I choose debit, and I need to add the GL account. Okay, I use the match code. I enter my GL account. Okay, payroll benefit. I select one. I enter the amount. Okay. If I want to show detail, for example, to add the cost center, I click on show detail. I've got more information about, for example, the account assignment. In this case, I want to add a cost center. I click on match code and I select, for example, the cost center that I create previously. I will show you also how to create easily some master data in finance. I click on cost center, right things. I want to check because I've got always an error message. Click on check. Okay, invoice was successfully checked. I can park, I can hold, I can post, I can simulate. I simulate. I've got the same thing, for example, in Miro. I've got the account type, my GL account. We work on the US GAAP. Not the FS. Just have a look if we have. Screen is not moving. Okay, I will try to share all my screen. I think it would be better. Oh, okay. So I go back. I simulate my result. Everything seems to be okay. It's good. I can save my invoice. Right now, I've got my supplier invoice. I'm able to display my supplier invoice. I just have to click on and I'm able to display the supplier invoice and the document flow that we have in SAP. As you can see, it's always the same thing. It's really user-friendly, and I display all the information that I need. Okay, if everything is okay, I click on reverse to cancel my supplier invoice. Or if I want to display my journal entry, I just have to click on journal entries. So I got my supplier. I can create simply an invoice in the system. Can display easily also in Fiori, which is different from the SAP B. As you can see, always the same thing. The work has been made in Discover for user. How to discover easily I've got my invoice. Okay, right now. I've got my journal entry. Okay, free for payment. So my next step is to proceed the payment. Automatic payment or manual payment. I will show you how to proceed with the manual payment. I want to go back to my home. I just click on SAP. Okay. So if I continue to process, okay, GL account, I enter the information. So for example, when the system says if the general ledger account is tax relevant in the taxation until tax date, I want to display my GL account into SAP. Always the same things. I don't know theory. I want to have more information about the application. For example, I am an expert in SAP GUI. I know that we can manage a GL account with the transaction FS00. I click on OK. SAP offer me, okay, you can use the application display chart of account. I just have to click on Theory Lighthouse apps. Okay, manage chart of account. Okay, I select my version. I don't work in S4HANA. I am on S4HANA Public Cloud. Okay, S4HANA 2302. And I've got all the detail about this application. I've got also the information about the scope item. Okay, I can use this application manage chart of account in the scope item accounting and financial clause. Okay, when I've got this information, I just have to click on and the system open directly the scope item G58. So I'm able to proceed exactly to the, okay, I'm logged on. To download the script of the test, I'm logged on in SAP and I proceed. So I create my invoice. Okay, I'm still in scope item. I just want to display the information. So I just have to write the same things. Okay, I have also these features in Fury. For example, I want to display some information about my GL account. I just have to enter for example, this one. I click on search. That will take some time to display the information. Okay, so if SAP, like Google, finds some information about this GL account, I got this information like Google. So Google can use the application to display my GL account, or I just have to enter my GL account, my profit center, my cost center, my business partner, my financial accounting, my purchase order. And automatically I will have a sum up with all the information and application to display, to change this. So GL account. I just have to select and automatically I'm able to display the information about my GL account master data. Look if I have any question. Okay, I continue. So I can enter the information in my search field, or I can use directly the name of the application that I want to use. Yes, the SAP.com will disappear, deprecated, and will be replaced by SAP Signature. In English or in French, English. I'm able to proceed exactly to the same thing, version, SAP Public Cloud, and I find all the information about how to create, for example, a new GL account. This is my GL account with the different translation and all the information, and in particular, the company code. Okay, this account is assigned to 7 company code. So right now I have created my supplier invoice. I've got my accounting documents. I want to proceed the next step. Always, you just have to follow step by step all the scope item. He explained to you how, for example, to create an invoice without purchase order, one-time supplier, park and post invoice, park and invoice, post invoice. How to do mass upload, invoice payment preparation, manage payment block, etc. To manage a payment run. So I just want to right now to show you how to do a single outgoing payment. So just have to go on, create single payment direct. I've got always the same thing. I select the application and I process. So outgoing payment indirect, we use this one. Single payment. So, for example, I remember that a part of the application is outgoing. We have different sections: application, post outgoing payment. That is what SAP S60 perhaps. I do not remember all the because I do not use right now since 5 years the transaction in SAP. So, I want to do the post ongoing payment. I select the company code. Okay, I use the match code. I want to do it for the KPC. I enter my journal entry date. Okay, today. I leave the journal entry type. Okay, it's for a supplier invoice. I select my house bank. Careful, it's not the same things. Do not create a bank for KPC. Perhaps it will be a good exercise to create a bank for KPC. Point. How to create a bank. I will try to do it in live. Manage bank account. The most important when you proceed a basic script test that you prepare all your master data before. So, for example, as a chart list, okay, I want to use the GL account, I need a cost center, hierarchy cost center, profit center, hierarchy of profit center, I need a supplier, I need work breakdown structures, for example, etc. Okay, so I display all, I manage bank accounts. I see that I create two bank accounts. Okay, I want to display the information. Okay, I go to display my bank account. I've got all the information, IBAN, the bank key. The house bank, my bank is assigned to company des Alpes. So I need to create, for example, if I want to process the post outgoing payment, to create the bank account. So I'm going to looking for just bank, payment bank, the amount. I remember I create an invoice from 100. Select my supplier. I use this supplier. So I enter all the information required for the payment. I click on show item to display all the financial documents that I need to process. So I create today two supplier invoice. So if I want to pay, I just have to change the amount. Okay. So I need to create a bank complete. So I'm not able to do it. I will do it later. I just have next step to click on clear and clear, and to check my balance is null. So when I enter all the information to proceed the post outgoing payment, I got all my financial document because I created previously two supplier invoice. Right now, I just have to click on post and the outgoing payment is done. So I will right now to show you the customizing point that you can have in the public cloud. So if I want to activate a scope item, I want to create my organizational structures. I want to customize my automatic determination account. I use a transaction called manage your solution. Manage your solution. I'm going on manage my solution. Central business configuration. I'm going on my central business configuration. Central business configuration, that is the equivalent of the transaction SPRO. Different menu. Activities, configuration activities, teams, all the people that work in the customizing, and deployment target when I move to a different environment to deploy the solution, two or three system landscape. So I'm going on, I go back to configuration activity. All the activity are sorted by group, for example, accounting, asset management, billing and invoicing. So, and you have all the customizing point inside 167, and just have to use it to access to the main differences. For example, when I have to make a new deployment for a new company, I proceed all my customizing point. When I finished, okay, I just have to select, for example, completed. Like this, I'm able to have another view of the percent of achievement of my customizing. So I have no question for the moment. Where is the customizing? That's this one. I want to looking for a customizing point with automatic determination. I'm able also to find it's here, automatic example, determination, the automatic, yes, accounting. General ledger, chart of account. For example, I want to display and to manage automatic account determination. I just have to click on. I've got also some information about the documentation. I click on open documentation. That is exactly the same thing that we can have when we are in a SPRO with the detail of the customizing point. Okay, I just have to manage the automatic account determination. A new tabulation in my Explorer, Internet Explorer open. As you can see, it's not exactly the same thing in a GUI. For example, I select the area. For example, financial accounting. Sub area, account receivable and account payable process. I want, for example, to display define alternative reconciliation up. Step 2, chart of account. YCOA, special GL. For example, for supplier financing. Step 3, and I've got the reconciliation account. So that is the main point that we can have in a public cloud. I just have to complete the information in my customizing point. Yes, I don't want to save it. So we can put it like this for customizing point. I go back in the SAP CBC, Okay, I've got all my customizing point. The main differences with the SAP on-prem, I want to define my activity. I just have to make a step back because I want to define organizational structures or scope. When we have the milestone scope, the scope is I want to activate a new scope item for my company. So I just have to click on initiate change. I want to make a step back because I want to create, for example, a new company. I want to create a new sales organization. I want to create a new storage location. So I want to create something new. So I will just to show you if I create a new company code. For example, I want to save it. Okay. Close this window. Okay. As you can see right now, I'm on my milestone is organizational structures. So I just have to click on activities. On my activities, I have the application setup organizational structures. I just have to click on manage or open. I open this application because I want to create a new element in my organizational structures. So in this customizing point, which we manage definition and assignment. It's always the same thing. I create a new company. I create a new purchasing organization. I create a new plant. I create a new distribution channel. That is the way to do it. So, two options. If I prefer to work with this kind of vision, I've got a simplified view. Perhaps if you do not like to work like this, okay, I see all my structure. For example, I create a company code that named Compagnie des Alpes with a plant. This plant has linked to a storage location for Canadian organization. So I want to create, for example, a new company code. I click on create. What I want to create? I want to create, for example, a new company code. Okay, I click on company code. I enter the ID, the name, and the country, and different information. For example, that is this company perhaps is linked to another company. So I want to create, for example, a new company for EPC. So I want to create CAP TPF EPC Finance. I enter the ID, KPF1, KPF Finance. Okay, I select the name. I select the number of the street. The street, I enter the information. Okay, this company is in the Bouches-du-Rhône, the city Aix-en-Provence in France. Tax jurisdiction, I enter in the information. I want to create a new company. I select this one. Okay, company PPF1, PPF Finance. Okay, it's for France. Okay, save. Do not hesitate if you have any question about the CBC and how to manage different, how to make the setup in a SAP S4HANA public cloud. But when you have to manage all the information about your organizational structures, you have a menu with all the activities that you can manage. For example, company, as you can see, just have to wait that the system creates all the information required for my new company code. Then, if I go back, SAP configuration, I've got 6 minutes again. Just to show you something else about the scope item. So when you work with S4HANA, you have different scope item to activate because you have make an assessment with the customer, and the customer required different use different process. So you just have to have a look to all the process. For example, I want to be sure that I activate, for example, the advanced intercompany sales. I've got a code, 3 character. So I want to activate this scope item. If I want to activate this scope item, I go to the CD. So when my company is created, it's good. I just have to save. I want to display all my scope items. For example, I've got the application name define scope. I'm going on manage, access to application. Okay, I activate in my area some scope item. I can limit, for example, bundle all country. I just want to see for the country France. For example, I want to display if my scope item 552 is activated. For example, 5. I know this one is not activated by default. Which one? I want to see credit memo, credit one is at 1. Okay. For example, I'm able to see that I activate the scenario credit memo processing in my system. So I am able, because I have made an assessment with my customer, and my customer tell me, Michael, I need to my process to create some credit memo. Okay, I activate the credit memo processing. So then, because we just have, okay, first of all, we have to see with the customer all the scope item which I need to activate. For example, for finance, for logistics, I activate all the scope item in my CBC. Okay, I activate all the scope item. Then I manage my organizational structures. First of all, activate scope item. Second point, organizational structures. Okay, storage location, plan, distribution channel, sales org, etc. Then I just have to manage only some customizing point, for example, automatic determination account. And then, do you want to? Yes, I want to save. Close. When I finish, for example, all my activities in a part of my first milestone, scope, okay, organizational structure is okay. When I finish to set up my organizational structures, I just have to click on manage. Okay, I finish. Complete. And I can confirm my step. Right now, I'm able to work on my small customizing point. And then the last part, when you are in a public cloud, you just have to manage the different master data. For example, I want to create a new profit center. I just have to click. It's just always the same things. You can just enter manage, for example, profit center. Okay, it's easy. You have profit center and center group. Manage profit center. Okay, I've got all my profit center. A different option. I can display, I can copy, I can lock, unlock with the same application. That is the main difference also with ECC. When I want to manage profit center, I've got one application, manage profit center. When I've got the same thing for cost center, only one application to manage different things. For example, I want to create a new profit center easily. I just have to select one. I click on copy. I enter the information about the new profit center, 1109, 31, 33. I enter, for example, a new name. Okay, I check the other information. So I have I'm able also to add some flexible fields in theory. I think it will be able to show you the next time. For example, I just have to click on and to adapt UI. When I click on adapt UI, I adapt my theory application. So I complete all the field and I just have to click on create to create a new profit center. So, hi Wouter, how are you? You join us at the end. I hope I will be able to introduce some more things the next time. In particular, how to manage different master data in SAP Public Cloud, because I think we can manage differently in public cloud. For example, as you can start beginning with the profit center, cost center, and perhaps the night time, I will be able to do a common presentation with Wouter. If Wouter, you agree with that, perhaps the next time together. So, do you have any other question? No question? So I need for the next time what exactly you need in 1 hour, what kind of application I can show you. If you need, for example, Michael, how to create quickly different master data in finance, how to add a new GL account, how to customize automatic determination of accounts, how, for example, to create a project, because in a public cloud we have a solution PPM that is not the same thing that the project system. So we can discover a lot of things in SAP. So I need you to be able to show you different things in 1 hour. So thank you so much for your participation, and see you next time.